Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Reach out to me directly. My email address is tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a 2021 variant of a watch that originally launched in 2019. This is the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Chronograph GMT, and it is everything its name implies. In titanium, the watch, 42 millimeters in diameter, is 7.2 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, if we're just talking about the case itself, it's 49.1 millimeters. But there are these little end link inserts that help to mate the strap to the case, and the total horizontal distance across the wrist from end to end, that is 52.1 millimeters. We'll throw this watch on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It is very flat. This Octo is Finissimo, and you'll see that it'll fit easily underneath any kind of a cuff. It is broad though, so I'm going to recommend this watch for a wrist my size or larger, as especially with the conforming links attached to the strap, the watch does have a very broad stance. It's feather light, but it is quite wide. As a result, I do think you need the wrist from side to side to manage this, and I'm not sure you can get that with a wrist smaller than 16 centimeters in circumference. There's your down the barrel shot right there, and once more over the top. The strap is high grade. It is rubber and textile, and you can see on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging, a brand new Bulgari factory strap. You can see how the strap is attached to the end link, and then the end link is actually held into the case using spring bars. We have a Bulgari matching media blasted titanium pin buckle, and the case, likewise, media blasted titanium. It's a nice matte aesthetic. The watch has many sloping facets and angles, and in fact, it has both creases and curves. The curves aren't obvious immediately, but you notice when you concentrate that the bezel is in fact circular. We have two bezels inboard. We have one that meets the sapphire, which is conventionally round, and then we have the inner bezel, which has a rounded polygonal form. There's a little cabochon of black ceramic on the double row knurled crown, and then we have a dial of matte black with printed silver features. We also have matted, faceted, modified Dauphine style hands that are skeletonized. Now, what appears at first glance like it might be part of the chronograph system is actually the second time zone over at the side. That is a 24-hour dial. The way this works is you change your local time by indexing it. There's a little pusher over at the edge at 9 o'clock. That changes your local time. Since there's no date, you can quickly advance to the correct time for whatever locality you're in. But when you pull the crown out, first notice a feature that is not common to other Octo Finissimos, which is hacking seconds. And then you'll see that 24-hour dial starts to move. It moves at half the speed of the central hours. So what you do is you set that to whatever time is appropriate. Push the crown back in. Now you set your local time to correspond with your location. The dial has a wonderful form to it as it is a combination of curves and hard edges. You can see that rounded polygonal form is fairly complex internally. The case is really more complex, as Bulgari claims no fewer than 110 individual facets. I haven't counted, but I'm going to press the I believe button. They're less distinct than on some of the contrasting finished models, but this has a wonderful low gloss matte look that is deliberate and consistent from the inside to the outside. The only glossy part of this watch is probably that polished cabochon of ceramic outboard. Okay, the case back. It would have been very easy to simply stick a chronograph module on top of the BVL-138, the micro rotor automatic, and the Octo Finissimo automatic. Instead, Bulgari took the BVL-288, the peripheral rotor system from the automatic tourbillon, and it stuck the chronograph mechanism in the center. So the donut hole gets the chronograph, then you have this platinum mass that runs around the outside. Peripheral rotor systems are still rare and exotic. They give you the thin profile of a micro rotor, but they give you a lot of space to work with internally if you want to place complications inside rather than atop the movement. A micro rotor modular complication is still going to be fairly thick because you've got the module atop. Because you can sink the complication into the center of a peripheral rotor automatic, it can form the basis of a more sophisticated, thinner and finer movement. That's how this whole automatic dual time zone column wheel chronograph is just 7.2 millimeters thick. Now it is nicely decorated with a combination of mechanical and manual finishing elements similar to what you get on an Audemars Piguet. You can see the edges of the bridges are quite a accomplished, actually. Nicely beveled with a little bit of a polish and a shine. They're not completely milled machined surfaces. We have stripes across the bridges. We have black polished screw head satination on the wheels. You can actually see that the base plate beneath the balance bridge is media blasted. You will note a full balance bridge to better brace against shock. You have that hacking seconds function, automatic winding, pivoting on 37 joules. This BVL 318 has a 55-hour power reserve. I'll show you the motion of the peripheral rotor. I know some of you are probably wondering, what's this like? It's like this. And then all of this is water resistant down to 30 meters. It does feature a column wheel and a lateral clutch. Column wheel feel is excellent. One of the great tactile pleasures of owning a fine chronograph, you can see the column wheel through a skeletonization in the bridge. It really is one of the finest I've encountered. It's up there with Longa, Rolex, and oddly enough, Breitling. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.